Welcome to Coach on the Couch. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski, here at Stratford High School, and visiting with Stratford Tigers baseball coach, Marshall Lehman. Almost combined a couple words there. Going to talk about this year's team a little bit. Before we do, just remind us how many years you've been coaching and what keeps you coming back every year.
So this is my fourth year as a head coach, and I've been here helping out with the program for 10 total years. And just, I enjoy being able to see the students in a different area than just in the classroom. Baseball has been a passion of mine, a sport I enjoy being around. And it's in the spring weather. It's nice to start getting outside. So all that's fun. But in general, teach these kids to learn a little bit about baseball. And we also want to help them, learn a little bit outside things that may not deal with baseball, but it relates to a future of their careers or just going up to be a little bit of a man. All those kind of things, is all that together basically is why I coach.
A couple years ago, state championship. The season after was a no. And then we started a little bit late last year. Conference champions, though, last year. And then end of the season with the playoff loss, a team you had swept during the regular season, Marathon. Let's start with that last game first. What do you think the guys coming back, what do they remember? What do you think they learned from that experience, and probably a letdown to end the season that early?
Well, first of all, it's baseball, and in baseball, if the other team's pitcher is on, like theirs was, he pitched a great game, and they came on strong at the right time. And if we have a few things don't go our way and we're pressing a little bit, you're just not on that night, you can lose a game. And so that's kind of what we are using as our philosophy and kind of going in with the kids this year is I don't really want to worry about and talk about last year really, but use some of that stuff to learn from it. We need to be more consistent in practice, in games, in reps, at drills that we're doing, and use that as to help us learn that if we can be more consistent in that way, if a team kind of gets up on us a little bit or the pitcher is a little bit on, we can go back to what we've been working on, what we've been preaching, and that can get us out of those funks and get us to hopefully, maybe it takes a third, fourth inning to come on a pitcher and start hitting some hits and getting some runs. So that's kind of what we're using that as. We're not going to talk about last year too much. So.
Yeah, good. Okay. We'll end with this then on last year. Seniors. The seniors, unfortunately, at this level, you get at most 4 years with a kid, and the senior year is always a special year no matter what happens. What do you remember most about that senior group? You can name any names you want, but what do you remember most about that senior group from last year?
Well, they played a lot of baseball. They loved to show up every day and work hard. They were leaders on the team. They knew the game very well. They were very talented. So we're going to miss them deeply on the mound, at the plate, in the field, all of it. But new team, new year, and I think these kids that we have coming up are ready for the challenge to try to step in and take over for a couple of those kids that were a big part of our team last year.
As we sit here on April 8th, haven't had a game yet, but you had a lot of practices. What have you found out about your team so far?
Well, I think this year's team has really matured. We had some kids last year, juniors, sophomores, that have really taken another step, and it's showing in our practices. We may be stuck inside a lot, and sometimes you can get a little squirrely after a while when you're in there and trying to figure out what else you can work on and do little things like that, but they're taking that challenge. They're learning to be more leaders. We have older kids working with younger kids in groups, and I've been seeing them mature that way. So I'd say their maturity from one year to the next, growing as young men, I think has been big for us. We're going to be a young team overall yet, but the young kids have taken that step that they're ready to do that.
As a coach, some of the things that happen when you transition an indoor baseball team to an outdoor baseball team, especially early in the season. Some of these kids in your team might not know that yet. We started a month late last year. There was no season the year before, so you have a number of kids that haven't had to handle that transition yet to live action and bad hops on a grass and a dirt field or whatever the case might be. What are some of your pieces of advice? How do you help that situation be as smooth as it can be?
Well, I had one of our coaches yesterday say we're working on the special teams of baseball. We really are trying to hit every little thing. Situations that we've learned over the years as a coaching staff. A very good staff that remembers a lot of things from past games, past playoff appearances, different stuff that might have hurt us in a certain situation. We've got them all written down. We go over them. Even if it's inside, we make them mentally have to work. And so we might not be able to have the outfield with the infield because we're in a gym. So we have just the infield working on something, but we use a situation and scenario that they're not ready for, and we put them in it. So they're getting a lot of mental reps. They're getting a chance to feel the ball, but like you said, it's not on dirt. It's not on a bad hop. So that's the part that we have a hard time being able to mimic for them. But we also work on the mental side of it. You know that the field might not be 100% flat and smooth like a court is.
It won't be.
But at the same time, you want the ball hit to you. And if they have the confidence that they want the ball hit to them and they work on those little things that we've been doing constantly in practice, we hope that that'll make up for most of the field conditions we might see. So that's as much as we can do.
I mentioned conference champions a year ago. What are some of the expectations and goals that you and the guys have talked about for this year?
Well, we know our conference is usually pretty challenging. We got some very good teams that we have to play against. So we we work on the stuff that we know we can control. And that's the ability to have pitchers that can throw a few different pitches, that can make it through a few innings for us and can throw strikes, and that we have guys in our lineup that are willing to put the ball in play and make the other team have to make a play. And then defensively, knowing the situations, being able to make the routine plays, because we don't need guys that can make the diving grabs and the behind the back flips the second. We need the kids that can make the plays that are hit right at them. And if we can do those things, I think that's going to be beneficial to us. That's kind of what we work on.
Let's talk about fan attendance a little bit. You get good fan attendance. I think we can say that comfortably. We would like there to be more. So what's your message to the people that are watching this, that are thinking about coming to a game, and the importance of having those people at the game supporting your student athletes?
Yeah, the kids love when they see fans. I will say sometimes they get distracted, but usually not. They love seeing fans. It helps them get more excited for the game. We try to work on just the overall atmosphere. Not only is it what our field looks like and getting it prepped and look great for the people that show up there or the players that feel like it looks like a great field to play on, but just the music. We try to bring in, do fan appreciation stuff. To have like different foods that we will give away at the game, just to bring more people in. We have with the youth nights and stuff, and bringing the youth kids in. So the more fans we can get at a game, the more it makes our players feel more upbeat and ready to go for the game. If we don't have music playing for the first 5 minutes of the game, they get a little frustrated. So when they see fans, it excites them. So I would just encourage that those that are able to come out. I know early season the weather's not great, but when it starts getting nice out, it's a great thing to come out and do. Just enjoy the weather, sit down and watch a little baseball. We play a lot of good teams, so it's a lot of good baseball. When you have good baseball being played, they are exciting. I know people say games can be slow, it's a baseball game, but there's a lot of excitement. And I think a lot of fans learned about that when we had our run in our state championship on how, wow, baseball can really be exciting. So it is, and we look forward to the warmer weather and as many fans as we can get to our games.
Two things about going to Tiger Stadium. Now, one I can't have any control over, but last year we had a couple of special appearances from DJ Chandler, talking about the music. His schedule last year allowed for that to happen. No guarantees this year, but the music is very good. And then on air, we talk about all the time concessions. The best burgers in any conference in the area are at Tiger Stadium at the baseball game. So get down and buy yourself a burger. I mean, man, they're good. I can't wait for it. Okay, fans are there. We're playing. Regardless of what it says on the scoreboard, it's the third inning, whatever it might be. How will the people that are watching know that things in this game are going according to Coach Lehman's plans, that this is good, regardless of what it says on the scoreboard?
I think just the demeanor of our players, how they're acting, how they run in and out, getting ready for the inning, our talks before we go to the dugout, just how the kids are handling themselves, the smiles on their faces. I think when you see that, you know that everything is going the way we want it to be going. And even if we're losing a game, we know that. Sometimes you're not always winning because a certain hit or an error happens here or there. Just they're on a little bit. But if our guys are constantly smiling, if they're talking, running in and out all the time, we know that we're doing the right things at that point, that even if we might be down at the time, there's a good chance we're probably going to come back. So.
Begin to bring this show in for landing. Again, you're watching Coach on the Couch. This is Stratford Tigers baseball coach, Marshall Lehman. Let's see. Let's talk about seniors, senior leadership. At on game day, you're in the dugout or you're in the coach's box on the third base line, you don't get to be on the field anymore. You don't get to stop the action and reposition or let's do this scenario over again. What are your expectations of your seniors on the field to be leaders during the game?
So we've got 3 seniors who have played a lot of baseball. They played all last year for us. That's Cam Dahl, Dylan Kirsch, and Gavin Kirsch. All 3 of them are going to be expected to kind of carry the load when it be at the plate or in the field, communicate. One of them's a catcher in Gavin. The other one's a pitcher and a shortstop in Dylan Kirsch. And also Cam pitches and plays short, middle infield. So those guys are kind of where the ball is going to be a lot. So having them there and be the seniors, I think that's going to help kind of guide this team and have that leadership. And we've been working with them a lot in practice. That's who they are. That's what we're expecting out of them. So we're excited to see what that's going to look like when we get into games. But having them in that part of the lineup and that part of the field playing, I think that should hopefully guide those guys out there. Because yes, we're in the dugout. We're not out there playing with them.
Yeah, right. You're not allowed to stop the game after a hit and reconfigure and talk about it.
Yep.
Lastly, talk about dugout chatter a little bit. It's one of the fun parts of baseball, I think anyway. That's something I enjoy kind of listening to. Sometimes it gets a little bit out of control, but it's pretty good. Other sports we've got cheerleaders or we've got other stuff, but in baseball, that dugout chatter means a lot, and it's a way for the guys to stay involved in the game even when they're in the dugout. So tell us about that a little bit and how you keep those guys talking in the dugout.
So we expect our guys to know what is happening at all times in the game. We have guys in the dugout that are at times told to take different notes of things that are occurring in the game to share it with us. So everybody is supposed to be doing something. So if we're batting, the guys are watching. What are the defensive guys doing? If they shift or move a little bit, why is that happening? How is the pitcher? Is he throwing a different pitch? Was that why he's moving around? How is that pitcher releasing? Having them even watch when they're waiting to come up. Okay, what does he start off? What's his first pitch, second pitch? When is he throwing them? And try to relay that to their teammates. So by doing that, they're usually then talking. They're communicating. They're cheering on their buddies. So that's one thing we do. And then when we're on defense, we expect the guys who are not in are up and about and are at the fence and they're talking and they're communicating through stuff. So that's kind of how we push it. Obviously, they can get a little out of control at times, and that's our job to rein them back in because we don't want to get too crazy. But the more we're chattering on the field and in the dugout, the more our guys are in the game and having more fun. And that's what baseball is all about. When you watch a game, you see guys doing that and communicating that. You know they're enjoying themselves. And when you're enjoying yourselves, you're playing relaxed. When you're playing relaxed, you're going to play a lot better.
So it's more than just playing bottle flip and sunflower seed basketball in the dugout, right?
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. All right. Anything else I missed, or anything else you want to tell us about your team coming into the season?
Well, we're excited for the year. Excited to hopefully play tomorrow. We've got Mosinee on a Saturday. We'll see if that happens with the weather. But we're excited to get going here. We got some games coming up. We got jam-packed weeks. There's going to be a lot of baseball, not a lot of practicing. So that's why we're getting all the practicing in now. But we've got a younger team overall. But we've got, I think, a pretty good pitching staff, a good group of guys that are really just ready to throw. Coach Spaeth is a very good coach. He's a very good pitching coach. He even works with other kids around the area. So he really works with them guys. So we're excited to see what our pitching staff can do again. And, we got some younger guys that have to come up. We have some juniors that have some experience in Jackson Ormond and Braden Schiller. And there's Cole Tishy is a sophomore, Brady Schmidt. Henry Zaleski, some of those guys are going to have to step up and see what they can do. And some kids like Landon's Whistling who hit the ball over like 600 last year on JV that doesn't really incorporate the varsity all the time, but we're excited to see what he can do. And we might even have some freshmen that have to step up to the plate this year who've played a lot of baseball. So we'll see how that all fits out. We got a month and a half or so to figure that out by the time the end of the season hits, and that's part of coaching and our job as a staff to put the kids in the right place to get that experience. So we're excited.
Yeah, good. Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it, whether single games or if we get pushed into double headers, depending on how much we have here. We're really looking forward to the season, and good luck this year.
All right, thank you.
Coach Marshall Lehman, Stratford Tigers baseball. More Coach on the Couch coming up next.